Alright, so in this episode, me and Dax are going to be talking about all of the unique and cool obstacles that have been created in the NSC and Premier Series this past season. So we have Dax talking about the NSC competitions, and I'll be talking about the Premier Series competitions. That is right. It's going to be a top 5 ranking. Owen's got his top 5 Premier Series obstacles. I've got my top 5 NSC obstacles. But before we get to that, we got to shout out our favorite ninja brand, Warped Wallies. Warped Wallies Ninja Goods Emporium has ninja shirts, stickers, and so much more on warpedwallies.com for all you ninjas out there and even ninja parents. Once again, go check them out at warpedwallies.com. You can even use our code NinjaTalk, NINJATALK, to get 15% off your Warped Wallies items. Warped Wallies, go smash that buzzer in style. See you guys after the break.
Mommy,
Yes, honey.
can I get Spotify for my birthday?
Why do you want Spotify for your birthday?
I want to listen to Ninja Talk with the Bunny and Frog. There are new episodes every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
In that case, of course you can. In fact, let's listen to it right now.
Alright, guys, so we're back with our list. Alright, Owen's going to get things started with his Premier Series obstacles. Fire away with number 5.
Number 5.
Okay, so mine is from the SoFlo competition that happened very recently.
Just last weekend, I believe.
Yeah, and it was those spinning boxes, but
Yes.
they had it blocked off.
Yeah,
where you could only use.
I did. So they're the
one small
DGS boxes that rotate.
Yeah,
There's boxes that are on a pole and they spin round and round. The pros had to do the vertical limits on them, which I would have loved to try, but
Yeah.
fortunately was not there, so could not have tried them.
it looked like it could have progressed really well and made some laches from them too.
Yeah,
would
for
be
sure.
great
Lots
to-
of spinning
yeah.
and lots of and definitely just anything vertical limit related is
Yeah.
really cool.
Mhm.
And just the way people can innovate obstacles, I've never really seen a spinning vertical limit before. So that's really definitely something
Yeah.
clever. My number 5, moving over to Ninja Sport Network, season 3. For this one we have number 5 from Rock Solid, qualifier number 4, the particle accelerator. It's the first time we've ever seen something like that, and I found it really neat. For those of you who don't know, it's 2 L-shaped pipes that have a ring, and if you go there, if you take one backswing, you're going to slide right off. So you got to go from one hook back to the hook behind you, and then do that a bunch while you generate your swing until you can dismount.
Yeah, that is really cool.
It's definitely a very clever obstacle. It was brand new, I believe, for the competition. We've seen it more now, but definitely a really
Yeah.
cool obstacle that we hadn't really seen before. So definitely one I enjoyed. And then they also had a U. It wasn't only with a ring. One of them was also an N shape, like a U, upside down U. Just the same thing you did with a ring. It was just shaped like
Yeah.
a U. So that was really clever, and I really enjoyed watching that one.
Yeah, it was really fun. I wish we could get one of those in our gym.
Would love to.
It would be really fun.
Number 4.
So for my number 4, I have the those dropping steps. I believe they're at Life Force. It was just like the regular square steps, you're on the post, the rising steps.
Yeah.
But they had them where they drop slightly,
Yeah.
like a spring on them.
I like it.
And I thought it was just a really cool way to kind of.
Was this season or last season?
I believe that was this season.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't
No,
know,
definitely
this
very
season or this
clever.
season.
They was that on placement or challenge?
That was on placement.
Yeah. No, definitely really liked that obstacle for sure. It was it was on the placement course. It's definitely a trickier balance obstacle because if you go too fast, it might not drop fully and you can't get the full pressure point to get a big enough jump for the next one.
Mhm.
I think after that or right before that, I can't remember which one, they had also the spinning discs
Mhm.
they stood on and they just rotated
Yeah.
round and round. You had a pole in the middle to grab. you needed them. They were pretty far apart for
Mhm.
elites, at least. I'm not sure about the other divisions. But definitely a very clever obstacle. And they will also be hosting the Premier Series finals this year. I am not going to go. I didn't do any Premier Series this year, but my sister will be there, so we can maybe get some stuff out of her on how the event was.
Yeah.
So for my number 4, this was in the NSC Championships at Obstacle Academy, and it's the cane precision throwback.
Yep.
Which
Yeah.
is exactly the same as it sounds. Just a throwback with slots that you use with a cane. They're very small. Not sure about the exact diameter, but I'm sure if you really wanted to know, you could figure that out. I really like the way that it really was really hard for the athletes. I don't think anybody cleared it. It was definitely the hardest obstacle on the course to that point. The final obstacle of the open round, and it actually didn't come back in the finals hybrid. It was it was the same thing, but they made it a little easier because they could see that nobody cleared it.
Yeah.
So they wanted to make it a little easier to get more clears.
Yeah.
But still a very technical obstacle, and I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
Number 3.
My moving on to number 3 now was also at SoFlo. It was the obstacle right after the boxes. I think it was like vampire or something, but it was like
V's?
the V's, yeah.
V formation thing. Yeah.
And like you had to pop back and get to the next one. They were kind of staggered back and forth.
Yeah, they were offset.
There was
one another. You had to go. So like, there's the V hold, and then you go pop 180, pop 180, pop 180. So that was really cool.
Really simple obstacle, but they set it up where like
yeah.
I know a couple people in the mature kids tried to skip like the last two or the last one.
Yeah, for sure.
But they made the platform like just
It was
slightly
really,
too far.
It was slightly too far. A bunch of athletes hit it and then fell back. And some of them spun. I think for elites, they all spun. And for other divisions, some of them were locked. So that was really cool, though.
Yeah.
I enjoy like the simpler obstacles. They give definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
Moving on to my number 3. This is actually one from the NSC Youth Championship, and it's the TikTok run up.
Yeah, that one's really fun.
One. It was it's actually really fun. It's pretty sketchy at first, but after a little bit it starts to get like, once you try it like once or twice, it's not too bad anymore. You gotta like, it was actually really technical when I tried it. You had to like build all your moment. You have to like get it to a specific point. But another thing noticed when you were on it is that when you run up, you almost gotta like jump halfway up the board to the center point. Because if you just like run up, it's gonna like start tipping down as you're going. So you want to get as high as you can with your jump, so that way there's less tip. Because if it's like, by the time it gets to like once it starts tipping, you're not going back up. You want to get really high, and then you tip it the other way, and then you can jump.
Yeah.
No, I got to try that.
That one looks really fun.
It was really fun.
I hope there's a.
You almost have to get inverted too.
Yeah, you do.
You like, when I was swinging all, you had to go like upside down.
Yeah, it seems really cool, and there a lot of people in that competition were like, who got to it, you could see that their feet were starting to peel off like the little step.
Yeah, once they get past like the halfway point almost, before you start doing flips around it, you definitely start to lose control. I definitely did that a couple of times when I was trying it. So, no, that was definitely one of my favorites, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Number 2.
And so moving on to number 2, you mentioned it earlier. I have the spinning circles at Life Force.
Yes.
Those look like just a really fun obstacle for a speed course that could trip people up and make them slow down a lot.
Yeah.
And they're also like in the elite division, you said, really far apart.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely very technical. You were able to rotate with them for sure. Like, there were poles in the middle which helped, but could also hurt
Yeah.
you because you couldn't get as much momentum without hitting the poles. So you were able to use them to balance you out so you didn't fall.
Yeah.
And they were pretty big too, but pretty far apart as well. Just after, and it was on a speed course with a very short time limit, at least for elites.
Yeah.
So, moving on to my number 2. This was at Rise at the Warehouse, and it was the final obstacle of the hybrid course. I'm not sure the exact name, but the way it worked, it was like flying bar cradles. You have an on-guard bar, and you got to lâcher the on-guard bar, pull it in, and push it out, and the 2 cradles were like standing on a vertical angle, and you had to tip them
That's
down with
cool.
the
Yeah.
flying bar. So that was really techy, really fun to see. Definitely something that like nobody would have ever practiced before.
Yeah.
I think only one person got it. I think Josiah Papel was the only one to get it. Actually, Phil Folsom got it, but then timed out when he got to the platform. Yeah. So, but I just really like the way that it's at the end of a very hard hybrid course. It was one of my favorite hybrid courses. It probably was my favorite hybrid course of the whole season. But yeah, definitely just a really, really tough obstacle after, well, like I said, a pumpy hybrid course for sure. And another thing about the on-guard bar, both sides are free spinning no matter what you do. Like typically with a normal flying bar, if you go switch grip, it won't rotate as much. But with that, no matter switch grip or not, you're going to miss. Or it won't miss, but like it'll spin.
Yeah,
spin out with limited control.
The on-guard bar it's much heavier than like a regular salmon ladder bar.
Yeah.
At least I felt.
For sure.
I tried it that one time. And yeah, it does free spin, so
for sure.
Makes it a
it's
lot
pretty
harder.
techy. I still prefer switch grip because it's just what I'm more comfortable with bar tech.
Yeah.
But Josiah Papel, who cleared it, did it forward grip though.
Yeah.
Number 1.
And so my number 1, it was at the Ferox competition, which I was at. It was the vertical limit wheels. So it was kind of like like a flywheel, but it was only
way smaller.
Way smaller and like a one-side vertical limit.
Yeah, for sure.
And they were staggered apart. So there was one on one side, and then you had to reach over, and it was a big reach to the other one on a vertical limit.
For sure, you had to like 180 around to the next one. I believe there was a beta that was broken on it,
where people were going to the top and then trying to hop and.
Yeah, since it was a wheel, you could also technically go to the top side of it.
Yeah.
So that wasn't. So that was a little disappointing, but a bunch of people who did. A bunch of people actually did do it the correct way.
Yeah.
What'd you do? I think you did 1 and 1.
I did 1 and 1.
You tried both.
I fell on that obstacle.
It's okay. It's okay, Owen.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Great.
So before we go, though, I do have a couple honorable mentions because the obstacles and course designers are.
You didn't do your number 1.
I didn't. No, the honorable mentions will come before the number 1.
Yeah.
You know, to build suspense.
Okay.
Suspense. All right, honorable mentions. I have the moving cliffhanger from Modus Ninjas. It's a cliffhanger, like a motorized cliffhanger that goes up and down, and you have to go from another cliffhanger and 180 to it, and you have to time it.
That's cool.
End of a burnout course.
Cool obstacle. Yeah.
So you're pumped, and it was very cool to see. Nobody got it. I think 2 or 3 ninjas got to it, and all of them fell. I think Tyler Smith, Caden Lepsack, and maybe like Phil Folsom got to it. It was really neat to see. Like, you've never seen an obstacle on a motor.
Yeah.
So it's just pulled up, pulled down, and just went up and down until you grabbed it, which by then your weight would just make it drop. So you wanted to like hit it while it was at the bottom, so you didn't have to absorb the drop. That it would put pressure on you, especially at the end of burnout course, because that's hard to hold on to when your arms are basically like not closing.
Yeah.
And then another honorable mention I had was also from Rise at the Warehouse. It is the sideways, like the tilting boards, but they were put on a vertical angle, so they were rotating books.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was the coolest thing when I first saw it. Then I saw the on-guard bar obstacle at the end, and that became my new favorite, coolest thing. But it was really cool to watch. Books are one of my favorite obstacles in general. So to see them spinning and to see like just the way you could set up your momentum, it was like bar, book, disc to another book to like a truss. So a couple people did a 180, couple other people didn't, and other people just went straight to it, which was probably the better move.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was also another great one from that course. So many great obstacles. All right, and moving on to my number one. This one was from Jungle Gym Ninja, and it is the paper airplane obstacle. Very, very fun obstacle, something that has never been seen before that comp, and I don't think it's been replicated yet. So basically, what it is, it's a V-shaped obstacle, and you have to swing, and it's got hinges in the middle of the V. So picture a V, and then there's hinges at the point that the two lines meet, and you gotta swing up, and you gotta throw it it'll lock into a bear trap, and then the V will tip down, so it's the right way. Otherwise, your hands will be grabbing underneath of it. So you gotta grab it, and then that way you're grabbing on top, and it's a little easier grab. And then you gotta like turn around and jump to a cliffhanger and then dismount. But I thought that was the coolest obstacle because it's just something that nobody's ever seen before. It's something that the athletes couldn't have been prepared for at all. Like, they've never tried anything where they gotta like throw something up and then catch that and then like turn around on it, and then it's similar to a throwback motion. So that's definitely something that probably helped them, but really cool obstacle.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to our joke of the week. Owen.
All right, Dax. What did the ninja eat between runs?
I don't know. What did the ninja eat?
Warped walnuts.
Get it? Warped walnuts? Hey? Anyone? Walnuts? All right. Alrighty. We're moving on to the stat of the day. Owen, you ready? You've yet to get a stat of the day right. Is this your time? All right. How many followers does American Ninja Warrior have on Instagram?
I'm gonna go with 1.2 million.
Incorrect. 1.4 million followers on Instagram. I'll give you a bonus answer to guess how many people they're following.
I'm gonna go with 52.
327. They're all ninjas.
I would assume so, but
Yeah, they're only following ninjas. Alright, well that's the stat of the day, guys, and that is the end of our episode. Hope you guys really enjoyed this one. Hope you guys learned about some new obstacles that happened over the course of Premier Series at NSC, and excited to see what comes next. See you guys next week.